Hello again. The kids have been as busy as always. We got our 48 Chevy engine blown apart. We've got our Chevy truck engine going back together, and a little more fiberglass work done on the quarter panel to our Ranger. We also got our frame painted for the 48, which is right in front of me, just slightly out of your view. So you have to wait a few more seconds before you see what color we decided on.
We're final sanding the frame with 320 in preparation for paint.
The frame has been blown off and now we are wiping it before painting. Since our rotisserie is tied up with the body, we are utilizing a lift so we can reach all sides while painting. Yep, green. Since green will be one of our accent colors, we chose to paint the frame green as well.
Not too fast. Some of the students that weren't necessarily on board with how we finished off the underneath side of the frame all agreed it was worth the time and effort once they saw it.
First, we remove the support systems for the engine: the coil, fuel pump, distributor, and generator. Next came the fan, water pump, and thermostat housing. The lifter and pushrod cover was removed. Then we backed off all the valve adjustments to remove the push rods before removing the rock arm shafts. Now it was time to detorque the head bolts in reverse order of torquing, outside to inside. Afterwards, we can use the impact to speed up the removal. Next, we turn the engine upside down to remove the oil pan. Turning the engine on its side allowed for easy removal of the pistons. All the piston assemblies with rod caps are kept in order.
We use an inside micrometer to check each piston bore. Then the pistons are mic'd to see how close our clearances are to spec. We replaced this old drive shaft bushing with a new, upgraded one.
We're using an automatic center punch to find center of our dowel pin so we can drill it out so we can remove the front tube bushing. So you can see we got our pilot hole drilled in the pin, like very much dead center, so we'll be able to use our next drill bit to get the pin completely out, and then we can pull out the bushing. So while we were drilling, the pin started spinning in the bore, so we were able to actually just remove it. So now we can pull out the bushing.
We're using a blind hole puller to pull out the factory bushing from our drive shaft tube.
Our new bushing has a burr that we need to remove before installation.
This is the old bushing that we removed from our drive shaft tube, and this is the new one-piece Okie bushing that we're putting in that not only has both bushings, front and back, but it also has the seal included in it. So this upgrade is much better for our drive shaft. So we have our new bushing and seal greased up and ready for installation.
We're driving the bushing in with a wood block. We've duct taped the block to make sure that no wood shavings enter the tube.
We're nearing the end of getting the bushing driven in, but we had to resort to our 20-pound hammer in order to get it in the rest of the way. So you just saw the students installing our new Okie bushing into the drive shaft tube. That came along with everything else you see in front of me, the lowering block for the chassis, rebuild kit for the front end, bushings for the leaf springs and so on, to get us back to a nice tight rolling chassis. Everything here came from a company out of Vancouver, Washington called Chevs of the 40s. You may have heard me talk about them in an earlier episode when we found one of their catalogs in the car as we were tearing it apart. Those guys have been amazing to us. Their products are phenomenal. They're a wealth of knowledge on not only the products that they sell, but the cars and trucks that they go on to. So if you've got a car or a truck from this era and you're looking for some replacement parts, whether it's to put it back to original or even some upgrades, these are the people that you should call. So again, it's Chevs of the 40s. Go onto their website, give them a call. They're awesome people to deal with.
In regasketing our truck engine, all external components and sheet metal are removed. We lined up the timing marks before removing the chain and gear to make it simpler to install the new one. Rather than use a puller to remove the crank gear, a couple of sharp hits with a hammer and chisel will crack the gear and it will slide right off. We install the new crank gear, then cam gear and timing chain. We torque the cam gear bolts, then install the cover with the new seal. We're adding sealer to the corners where the gaskets meet.
With the major part of the repair taken care of, we're now finishing off some of the smaller cracks. Let the fiberglass resin dry, it's ground to shape, and then it'll be ready for a coat of filler.
I'm hand blocking the high spots in preparation for the final skim coat.
Next time on Bulldog Builds, we'll be putting new core plugs in our Chevy truck engine. We'll see how far along we are on our Ranger quarter panel. And we'll see what's going to be next for our 48 chassis. See you next week.